Welcome everybody.
Welcome, welcome.
Welcome to the final Adelaide Hug event for the year. Just checking that everyone is here. If you could just pop a comment in the chat to let us know that you're in, that would be amazing. Just double check everybody's hearing everybody. So welcome. We're pretty excited to be here, and this is the first time I've actually been part of one of these hugs for so I'm pretty excited for everything really. So we're going to get started. We might just give people a couple minutes. So just a bit of housekeeping. As you guys have already popped your microphones on mute, which is perfect as attendees. Imanol and Ryan will be presenting today, and we will be having an opportunity for Q&A after Ryan's session. So Imanol will be sticking around for that this afternoon. Imanol will be taking us through some of the highlights from Inbound this year, and then Ryan's got some fantastic practical tips that you can implement yourself to get ready to tidy up your portal ahead of 2021. I'd also like to point out that we do have a Slido event running, an event set up on Slido at the same time, where we will be running some polls. So we'd really appreciate if you can jump on there. I have popped the information in the chat. So if you just head to Slido, so sli.do, and then pop in the event code. There's no need to log in. You don't have to give any details or anything. You just need the event code, which is 85594. Thank you for the link, Ryan. Appreciate that. So at this stage, it looks like we've got a few people. So I think let's get started. Also, just to note that this event is being recorded. So just so everybody is aware of that.
Great. Okay. So I should be the one beginning with the sharing my screen, right?
Yes, please. Yes, that'd be great. Thanks, Imanol.
This one. So if I can have some thumbs up when people can see the screen would be great. Great. So as Rubina was saying, the first part of this presentation is going to be focused on reviewing some of the announcements that were made at Inbound back in September, some really exciting product updates that I want to share with you, and I hope you find interesting. We can dedicate some time at the end for some questions that may be focused on those products or maybe on others. So let's get it started. My name is Imanol, and I am a senior channel consultant at HubSpot based in Sydney. I've been with the company for almost 3 years now, and my role is to help and guide partners like Refuel Creative on the implementation and following best practices on all things HubSpot. So you can connect with me on LinkedIn. That picture is definitely from better times. Almost 3 years ago, no COVID, no a lot of things, definitely more hair. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell. And let's get it started with a couple of questions using Slido to get a bit of an understanding of your usage and your understanding of HubSpot in general. So the first question that I have is, how long have you used HubSpot for? So you can, Rubina, correct me here if I'm wrong, they would be able to answer that question on Slido directly, right?
Yep, you just jump onto Slido, the poll's up there. We've got somebody's 1 to 2 years, we've got somebody 3+.
Great. So we have some tenured people here, so that's great.
Hardened veterans, I think we like to call them, Imanol.
Veterans, there you go. Ryan, why are you hiding your camera? You're just showing us a sick mustache before we started. How can you hide that? All right, let's get going. So that was the first question. The second one is, which hubs do you use most often in your day-to-day? So you can have marketing, sales, service, CMS, and if you use more than one, maybe just put it in the chat or just say it out loud if you want to.
So far, we've got sales and marketing. Great. And perhaps one on with CMS as well.
Fantastic. So most of the updates that I'm going to be covering today are focused on sales and marketing. There are a ton of updates that were presented at Inbound, And when I reviewed this presentation, I thought that it would be definitely too much to present at 2 in the afternoon. Probably a lot of people would fall asleep. So I'm gonna stick to Sales Hub Enterprise and some really cool updates on marketing called Marketing Contacts, yeah? So if some of you have used HubSpot for 1, 2 years, or even 3+ years, you may be familiar with the concept of inbound, which is at the end of the day, the event that takes place or used to take place in Boston in September every year, in which we not only talk about product updates, but we also present industry trends overall. So again, this year was different. Everything's been different and challenging for a lot of people this year, and we had to run it virtually. So the way we did it, if you had the chance to attend, was by having different breakout sessions in which we had a chat. You could have your own avatar, which was pretty cool. You can decide your hat, your clothing, whatever. It was a nice way of like creating a digital experience, something different. And if you managed to attend, I hope you enjoyed it. And some of the updates that I'll present today may be not that new if you managed to attend. But in a nutshell, these are the updates that were presented per hub. So the first one is Sales Hub Enterprise, which we're gonna cover today in a lot of detail, covering things like CRM tools, artificial intelligence, configure price quote tools, and some really cool updates on reporting. In terms of marketing, it says that pricing updates, but Marketing Contact is a new pricing model that will help a lot of you make sure that you have full control of your contacts and the price associated with that. Some really cool updates on marketing, especially the new custom report builder, a ton of updates on account-based marketing, Service Hub, team permissions, the CMS. It was presented earlier in the year, but it was officially launched at Inbound. And finally, some updates on the ecosystem. So we have a really solid ecosystem of partners throughout Australia, New Zealand, and globally that are making a huge impact on how HubSpot is being positioned in the region, and are experts and probably know more than what I can do. One of them is, of course, Ryan, Rubin, and the rest of the team. So we're gonna also talk briefly about that in a second. As I said, as you can see, there are a lot of updates. So we're gonna focus first of all on Sales Hub Enterprise and what can be done with that. Don't think that it's gonna be everything focused on Enterprise. Actually, a lot of the updates are available to some extent with Sales Pro. But yes, the overall product update was on Enterprise. And the second one is gonna be, as I said, marketing updates. Yep. So you will be receiving the slide deck after the session, and it will include, this is actually a video that goes for 45-50 minutes, but it's a really nice way of getting the HubSpot spotlight from our founders and get a good understanding of how the company has pivoted and how the industry has changed based on this crazy year, let's put it that way, right? So how do we thrive in the new normal? So that was the core theme of this year's Inbound, and I'm pretty sure that everyone in this session has heard the words new normal at least 1,000 times. So at the end of the day, what that means is that this year has shown us that we don't know what tomorrow will look like, or what next week will look like, or even 6 months from today, how the world is gonna look like. So we need to make sure that businesses change and they thrive in this new normal and adapt quickly. So that can be achieved by, first of all, mindset, but secondly, by tools that allow you to change and pivot your business to that new world in which we live. The core sort of change or fundamental change that business needs to go through is doubling down or at least focusing more on customer experience overall. That slide here, it's not really like updated to 2020, but it shows what happened on the crisis on 2008 for those businesses that had a solid structure on customer experience. What we found, and again, you will have the link to that research on there, is that if you have a solid customer experience strategy, you will be able to bounce back from the uncertainty way faster, because what we have seen in the last 8 to 9 months is that it's not easy to get new clients. A lot of industries have gone down, and you need to focus on your existing customers because they are the ones that you need to keep, to nurture, and hopefully they will refer new business to you. So as I said, Today's most disruptive companies are winning on customer experience. All of these things live in the CRM, and this presents a huge opportunity for all of us, can be consumer brands to B2B. It can be a good opportunity for us to be better positioned with our customers. CRM is at the center of it all, but it's not something that is new, let's put it this way. Yeah, so CRMs have been around for a long time. We're gonna be using the example of Liga CRM, and there was a main problem with that, which was that even if you had a CRM, that didn't mean that your life or your job was easier. The whole idea is that technically the CRMs had it all, but when you are trying to put it in practice, it turned out to be not so great for many different reasons. And you ended up with what we call a Franken system, which is a system formed by many different tools that share data, but you don't know how accurately they will do it. And you end up with a massive platform of different tools that talk to each other, but you don't have full control over them. And that created three main problems. So first of all, when businesses were aiming for that flexibility, at the end of the day, they found that it had so many options that actually made it really, really complex to implement. And as you can see there, more than 1/3 of CRM implementation projects eventually fail. So they positioned it as really, really flexible, ended up being really complex. Secondly, they are designed for what they were designed for budget holders, not for users. So it's not the same the person that decides which CRM you're gonna go with than the person that actually uses it, which means that if you as a user don't like it, you may not use it. So the whole idea here is that a lot of sales leaders, more than 50%, believe that their CRM is difficult to use. Why is that? Because probably the sales leaders were not involved in the sales process of the CRM. So that's something to bear in mind as well. And the last thing was that it was presented like a full solution, but it was presented as a full solution, but it ended up being quite incomplete without you adding add-ons. So you could do all these things, but you needed to build maybe another arm for the Franken system or an additional leg with additional tools that made it more expensive and more complex to manage overall. However, not all news in 2020 are bad. Actually, I have some good news for you that you don't need to worry about tools that are powerful or easy to use. Now you can actually combine both, and that's what I want to present to you today. So as you can see there, we have found the gap that allowed tools to be both really powerful and easy to use, and that comes as Sales Hub Enterprise. So it gives you the best of both worlds without actually compromising anything. Let's begin with ease of use. So as you can see there on the screen, HubSpot has been positioned consistently really high for ease of use by G2. You have some examples there. But when we actually compare the features of HubSpot with other big platforms in the market, in this case, the screenshot is from Salesforce, you can see how some of the features, in this case, all of them, have been featured higher or have been ranked higher than others in the market. So that's what gives us that confidence in creating a product that is really simple to use, and you don't need to have that background knowledge or technical knowledge to start using the CRM from day one. The second one is power. So we can make a really easy tool, but it needs to be powerful if we want to compete in the market and if we want that tool to adapt to our needs as a business, right? So in terms of power, we have 4 core benefits that we're gonna be covering today that are part of Sales Hub Enterprise. But I guess the main strength is that all of them have been built within the CRM. So they have been developed taking into consideration existing features of the CRM. So it feels like a natural and organic growth for you to use. First question that I have then, if you use Sales Hub, some of you have answered that you use Sales Hub. What level of subscription do you actually use for that hub? A can be enterprise, professional, starter, or D says not yet, but could also be free. So if you want to answer that, please.
Looks like we've got at least 2 people on professional and
Great.
1 on starter.
Okay. Well, both levels of subscription have a ton of benefits. For that person that answered starter, we definitely have a lot of things that can help you make the most of the tool, some simple automation to just change deals or trigger actions. But a lot of the features that are going to be presented now are focused on professional and enterprise. So the main or the first core benefit is that we have created an enterprise-grade CRM tool, which offers you and the sales operations teams the flexibility and control they need to build your whole business around HubSpot. It begins with the CRM on its core. It's pretty robust, it's pretty flexible. You can capture contacts, companies, information about your teams, and every single tool coming together. And the most important part is that it will be your own only single source of truth to which you can refer to check how your business is going from a marketing standpoint, from a sales standpoint, service, or even just looking at your contacts. Custom objects. This is one of the biggest updates that we presented, and in my opinion, it's a huge game changer for all prospects and existing clients. So you can store almost any type of data in the CRM using custom objects. For example, like students, subscriptions, shipments. So you can move from the standard objects, contacts, companies, tickets, and deals, and create your own. Those objects that match your business and that need to be created for you to track how everything is going on a daily basis, right? So those objects, they actually work like standard objects. So you will be able to create reports from that, workflows. So that, I guess, the main technicality is that in order to create the custom object, the first time you will have to use the HubSpot API. I've done it. It's quite simple. All you have to do is just, let's say, create shipments. So you follow the instructions, you create the shipments, and that would be it. Then all the other custom properties that are going to be created around shipments can be done from inside the CRM UI, same as you would normally create a custom property for contacts, for companies. So it's really comprehensive, and it's really, really, really powerful. Another great update is the allowance to provide field level permissions. So until now, you could have permissions based on teams, based on product, but right now, you could also assign permission to specific properties. So you can decide within the CRM if myself or Ryan or Rubina could have access to a specific property and change it. So that's the top level of control you can have over your CRM, over your users, and it allows you to edit pretty much specific CRM data quite simply. The last part on the CRM bit of this presentation would be account-based marketing. So account-based marketing was actually, or target accounts, as it's also known, it was presented back in May, but we presented a ton of new updates at Inbound, things like the accounts overview, or even the target accounts home, that would allow your marketing and sales teams to work together towards that strategy. We have over 8,000 customers using account-based marketing at the moment, using HubSpot, of course, and we're working constantly on creating new dashboards, new features that you can use those target accounts with, and much more. So something to definitely keep an eye on. And then you can, those were the main, I guess, updates that I wanted to cover from a CRM standpoint, but you can also look at things like automation, lead rotation, the product library, and the single sign-on with professional and enterprise. So really cool things to do there. The next question before we move on to the next area would be, where do your reps spend most of their time? It can be prospecting, it can be monitoring leads, creating follow-up tasks, and all the admin things that we all hate, or the qualifying leads. So if you want to just maybe give me that answer on Slido to have a good understanding of the audience would be really helpful.
So Imanol, the results are coming in, and the reps are actually mostly spending their time on emails and calls, prospecting outreach.
Yep.
And there's also one that's popped in for the qualifying leads as well.
Great. So based on those two answers, I believe that this update is going to help you a lot. So the second part of the Sales Hub Enterprise core benefits, or the second core benefit would be using artificial intelligence sales acceleration. So HubSpot has been playing with artificial intelligence for a while, but now we have embedded all that into the daily tools that your reps or even sales leaders can use. So first of all, advanced sequences that allow you to now you can bulk enroll people into that sequence, or you can even get a sender score to classify those contacts that just send in those sequences to the quality or the probability of them becoming clients. So the advanced sequences are designed to help you ensure that nothing falls to the cracks and that all the opportunities are followed up on a timely manner. Yeah. As I said, artificial intelligence has come a long way, and this feature, this animation, I don't think for some reason it's not working, the animation there, but it will work once you get the presentation. So pretty much what we have done is that now from within the CRM, we automatically scan a prospect's email signature and populate all that data into the CRM. So things like job description, title, company, whatever it may be that it's included in that signature will be automatically uploaded into your contact record, and you don't have to do that. That saves a ton of time to the point that it has saved reps 1 hour and 50 minutes of their time per week. That time can be used for doing sales outreach or even just closing deals. So small things that can help remove that admin friction and focus on the important part, which is getting new clients. Yeah. Now you can also use sequences integrated with LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Remember that you need to have Sales Pro for this, but you can even request connections on LinkedIn through the sequence or send those contact email messages from the sequence itself. So a huge improvement on the integration between two platforms. And again, they will save a ton of time to your sales reps. Today view is a new view, as the name it says, that is designed to help your sales reps have one unique go-to page to know what they have to do that particular day, right? So they don't need to go to their different inboxes, to different CRM, check their calendar, check their notebooks. All their tasks will be displayed on their today view. So how does it work? So the today view is triggered by tasks that are created in the portal. So those tasks can be created through workflows, can be created by their sales managers, or they can even be created by themselves. So all those ones will be populated inside of that today view, and they will be able to action them, put them on a queue, or even just use the portal as they would normally from that that unique view. So really, really cool to pretty much allow them to focus on just one go-to page and get them going. That today view can also be used on the mobile app. We don't have a question here, but I would love to ask the crowd, how much do you like or do you use the mobile app? Because the truth is that I don't think it was great for a long time, but I have changed my mind. So I've seen the new functionality, how simple it is to use. And I believe that if you give it a go, it will change your mind, because you can take that today view to your phone. And we have created what it's called the HubSpot keyboard for both iOS and for Android. And you can use snippets, meetings links, documents, and quotes from the app, but also with tools like WhatsApp, Slack, and much more. So if there's no link to the video that shows how the app works, I'm going to put it in there before sharing it with you. But in a nutshell, these are the 3 main benefits that you would get from using the app. First of all, you can access your CRM wherever you need it. You can see the contacts, the tasks. It helps you stay organized. You can do that email outreach. You can use live chat from the app, and you can use that HubSpot keyboard that it's phenomenal. And the last one is just collaboration. So making it easier to add notes, update other owners of that particular contact, get real-time notifications of any changes that had happened to the contact, to the deal, or any other sort of communication that you had with them. So if you haven't checked it yet, give it a go because it's a goodie. I guess that I asked this question already, but can I quickly ask you, do you use that app, yes or no?
So far, it looks like we've got 3 votes for a yes on that,
Oh,
Imanol,
cool.
and 1 vote for a no.
All right. So for that person that said no, I would recommend using it because all this information is based on data that has been collected, yeah? But reps who use the mobile app have 12% higher quota attainment than reps who don't use it. So I guess that you may as well give it a go. And for those 3 that said yes, maybe in the Q&A, you can give us a bit of fun feedback on what you find helpful, if you like it, if you don't. And yeah, I'm curious to see what you have to say about it. And again, those are the main benefits of the AI, but you have a ton of other tools that you can use, such predictive lead scoring, which is a pretty cool one, Slack integration, meeting scheduling, playbooks is part of enterprise, really cool as well. But I guess the other ones are the ones that I think would be relevant to the audience. I will need to fly through a few of the slides because I think I'm going over time, but let's get going. So the third core benefit is the configure price quote tools, or QPC tools, which are features on Sales Hub Enterprise that are designed to help you not only creating proposals, but also allowing you to change your product library to be more flexible and show the properties that are actually relevant for your business. So let's get started. Proposals. If you have used the proposal tools in HubSpot already, you may have checked the beta that allows you to create customized templates. If not, that's something you can discuss with Ryan, Rubin, and the team. But we are making a ton of improvements to quotes to the point where you can create more customizable and own brand proposals, same as choosing from the out-of-the-box templates that you already have. Yeah. If you are on Sales Pro, Marketing Pro, or even CMS Pro, you can have access to the out-of-the-box templates that we have for proposals. And if you want to start customizing your proposals, you may be looking into enterprise subscription, yeah? Proposals and quotes are a huge focus for HubSpot this year. And I'm gonna cover all the accounting integrations that we have created, but trust me that 2021 is gonna be a big year for this type of solutions in which proposals and quotes are gonna be really, really important, yeah? But before we go to that, I wanted to mention the second benefit, which was the flexibility around the product library that allowed you to pretty much change the properties that are displayed in that product library to show things like your SKU or even any custom product property that you want to share. So as you can see on the screen, you can see the SKU, the source, or even the unit price. So really cool things to help you have a good understanding of how your products are performing and changing to show the properties that are relevant to you. This is what I meant by the importance of quotes and proposals in general. So we have heavily invested in integrations with key accounting tools such as NetSuite, QuickBooks, Xero. If you managed to check the webinar a few weeks back, that was really, really cool. And we have even created our own accounting API that you can check if you want to build your own stuff for a really specific CRM or accounting tool that you may use. But these integrations are really cool because they will allow you to generate not only invoices, use automation for things of that, synchronize currencies, and update tax codes as well. So a lot of the things that the accountants of the business have been doing using many different tools, now they will be able to use all that from within HubSpot, which is in my opinion, pretty cool. Let's get going to the last core benefit of Sales Hub Enterprise. And the question that I have for you would be, which insights are most important to your business? So what do you want to see to evaluate how good your business is doing and how good your reps are going? So you have A, rep performance, B, forecasting, and C, any changes that may have happened to deals that you can use to help your team or get an understanding of the overall situation. So what do we say to this one? Any answers on that, Rina?
Coming through now. Just give us a moment.
Cool.
Just waiting for the responses.
Nice.
So far, deal changes is
Great.
taking the lead to help the team work through roadblocks, or forecasting sales pipeline coming in second there. But no, again, deal changes coming out ahead.
Yep.
So those two are definitely, and now they're neck and neck again. So
Great.
B and C
Perfect.
for the moment.
Perfect. Then in that case, you're going to love this benefit, which is a huge improvement on the sales reporting. And we have actually achieved that by creating two new features, I'd say. First one is forecasting, and the second one is the sales analytic page that includes a ton of reports that can help you see those deal changes. Yeah. So that will help you get visibility in terms of how many deals are aiming to close this month, those changes, but also how the reps are performing to help them and coach them to get them to do a better job. Yeah. So let's get started with a couple of them. These screenshots have been taken from the sales analytics view. So in order to access to the sales analytics, you would normally access them from the same page where you would get to the analytics tools, but next to that, you will have the sales analytics, right? So there you will be able to access reports like this one, in which you can see, for example, this one is the deal funnel report that shows all the stages, and you can see the progress or the changes to one of them. This, I like this report because it allows you to understand the efficiency of the sales funnel overall. And even if in this case, the screenshot is showing a pretty healthy transition, we've seen cases in which some of the stages are barely utilized, which allows you to think, why is this not being utilized? Are the sales reps keeping this stage, or is it not relevant? Why is it? Do I need to create content to help them? So that's when deal funnel report would be helpful. For those ones that said that are interested in the deal changes, this is a really good report, right? So it's the deal pipeline waterfall report. And as you can see, it shows you for a period of time, the changes that have taken place within the deal, right? So you can see the list of deals that may have had their amount decreased or that they were pushed in a given time period. So you can see some specific type of changes to the deals in that particular time period that is relevant for you. So check this one out. The next one, again, really, really important, deal change history report. You can see for each particular deal, up to the minute feed on every change that has happened to that deal. Things that, new deals that have been created, if the close date changed or it was pushed out, if the amount of the deal was changed, if the deal has been moved backwards. So rather than moving it to the closed won stage, we're moving towards the discovery path. Why is that? So from one single view, you can see all that information and allows you to act quickly because, as I said, you can get feeds like up to the minute updates. So really cool. That's from the sales analytics standpoint. Coach, reps, and teams, that's a tab on itself on the sales analytics tool, and pretty much gives you the information you need to coach your sales reps. Yeah. So you have the call outcomes. You can see for each of the sales reps how they did it, and you can identify areas in which you can pretty much coach them and get better insights that help you help them improve their performance. Yeah. Last but not least, forecasting. This is a new forecasting app that what it does is just collects input from sales reps to generate like up-to-date sales forecast. Yeah, so you can see things like the goal attainment, or you can even drill down into the particular deals to see how they're tracking towards their goal. Yeah, so it's quite an interactive tool in which you need to say for each of the sales reps, you would put the goal, you would have to do this in the settings, and you would be able to, based on the deals that they have open for the month, see how likely is it for them to just hit their quota that month. You can check, in this case, the screenshot is not showing, but you can see each specific deal, what's been changed. You can combine that with the waterfall pipeline or with the change history report to pretty much get an understanding of how each of the reps are doing and how their month is looking. So really cool thing. And a few other things that I think will be relevant. Again, a dozen of standard reports apart from the sales analytics. Custom reporting has come a long way. AVM reporting or more specific dashboards to change. I don't know if you've seen the new dashboards, but you can change the sizing. You can get up to 20 reports rather than 10 in the past. And you can pretty much create a customized dashboard based on the way you look at it. So I've spoken a lot. Hopefully some of these tools have caught your attention, but I guess the question would be, why should you use Sales Hub if you don't already? And I have 4 main things why you should use it. First of all, it eliminates friction. It brings all the tools together. It puts people before process, and remember that customer experience is mandatory in the thriving world we live in. And finally, because it empowers sales teams to do their best work. If you're giving them all the tools they need, that will improve the efficiency of the sales reps, and they will get better results if they have all the support they need, right? In addition, overall, it has a lower total cost of ownership. As you can see there, based on the features, with the CRM, you can have unlimited users. You can have more core features that are included to the CRM that in the past were paid tools, lower implementation costs, compared to other platforms, and faster time to value. So not only that, the app ecosystem is phenomenal. At the moment, we have over 500 integrations focused on Power. As I said, a lot of integrations now with accounting tools, Xero, NetSuite, QuickBooks, and we actually have a beta for a DocuSign integration that if you're interested, we can get you into that one as well. But really cool to see what the team is building and what are we moving towards in the new year, right? I wanted to share, Rubina, just let me know how am I doing with time here. I may have like additional 10 minutes or so, but I wanted to show you a quick video. It goes for like 1.5 minutes on the feedback of some people on the sales tools. Yeah, so I'm gonna click here. Hopefully it works, and you can hear it.
Do I see myself outgrowing HubSpot? Absolutely not.
With HubSpot, there's no need to compromise power versus simplicity. It's simply powerful.
When we started with HubSpot, our sales team was only about 5 or 6 people. Now we're up to about 140 on our sales team across 10 major markets in the US.
People are able to adopt HubSpot, get up and running, and be productive in a matter of hours.
We decided to switch from Salesforce to HubSpot. It was nice working with a CRM where you didn't have to hire a CRM engineer.
The reporting on HubSpot has really helped us build a lot of insights into our business quickly, and that's been great for fixing leaks in our sales funnel or addressing pain points that our sales team is bringing up.
You can make it truly feel like it's yours and it's customized for your sales and marketing process.
The mobile app allows our team to take the power of HubSpot with them wherever they go.
I've got everything that I need in this platform. It's something I'm really happy I invested in. It's making it so much easier for our company to scale.
So 2 things to remember, yeah? Ease of use and power. And not only that, one of the things that we also focus on is on the onboarding team, right? So you will be supported by a really qualified team that not only have the technical knowledge, but they also have the business acumen to understand how the tools can fit into your business, right? Not the other way around. Remember that the tools should adapt to the way you do business. So that's why you will be supported by a team of professionals, yeah? In summary, I'm not a big fan of talking about pricing, but I want to show you what's available with each tool, with each level of subscription. And as I said, a lot of it can be used with Sales Pro. So for those users with Sales Pro and those ones interested in Enterprise, this is what you would get with each of them. The main differences would be, of course, custom objects and that deep level of permission to allow property-specific permissions would be part of the Enterprise level. And from a proposals standpoint, if you want to customize the templates or, yeah, pretty much that, you would be looking at the Enterprise as well. Yep. So all the updates that I just covered are focused on 2 main hubs. So it would be the sales tools or even the CRM. So while we cannot cover everything, the second one that I want to mention briefly is marketing contacts. Question for you all. Did you hear about marketing contacts? Yes or no?
It looks like 3 out of 4 say yes and 1 out of 4 no. Okay,
cool. So for those ones that have heard from it, fantastic. Again, it would be good to hear from you, your feedback at the end in the Q&A. For the ones that have not answered or have said no, we have changed the way we charge for contacts. Let's put it this way, yeah? So until now, we had 3 major problems, and I guess that, well, we had a main problem, but we had to work towards solving that by identifying what caused that problem. So the first thing, or the first issue, was that the contacts were not created equal, right? So in the past, or even now, you have the free CRM, you can have unlimited contact, you can have 1 million contacts, but as soon as you used to move to marketing, you had to pay for all of them, because we understood that you were gonna send marketing emails or use them as part of an ad sequence. So it was a big change, and it was not something that a lot of times clients were happy with, because they were saying, well, I've been using the CRM for a long time, I've been storing 10,000 contacts, I haven't paid a cent for them, why all of a sudden I need to pay for that? That was the first problem. The second one, it's what it's called the platform tax. A lot of people, in order to avoid being charged for those contacts that they didn't send marketing emails to, they use multiple platforms. Some clients use Salesforce to have all their contacts, but leads that have stored in HubSpot. So it's a solution, but in the long term can be messy. And the last one is that the contact pricing has held you back from using more of HubSpot. And it's pretty much that a lot of times you couldn't justify the cost of contacts, which in some instances was even more expensive than the hub itself. We've seen cases in which a client has 50,000 contacts, 60,000 contacts, and even if they get a really good discount, the price they were paying for that was pretty much similar to what they were paying for the tools itself, which was crazy. So that's why we came up with marketing contacts, which is a new pricing model for Marketing Hub only, that allows customers to only pay for the contacts they want to market via, as I said, emails or ads, right? You can store up to 1 million contacts in the CRM, and up to 1 million of non-marketing contacts. And as you can see there, it follows a really thorough process to tag them as marketing or non-marketing, right? We need to go through your database. You need to identify which contacts are a list of contacts that you would be sending marketing emails to, and which ones you're not pretty much engaged with them on marketing emails. So in a nutshell, what marketing contacts allows you to do is to have all your contacts in one place, and it gives you unlimited growth potential. One thing to bear in mind, without going into much detail into marketing contacts, because we could have another hour to talk about this, is that marketing contacts are just for marketing emails and ads. For those users that have Sales Pro, you may say, but I'm using sales templates, I'm using sales emails. For that one, it's absolutely fine. Only for the marketing emails is where you will have a limit of the contacts that you can send emails to. You can send emails part of sequences to as many contacts as you want. So it's kind of flexible in that way, and really cool. But I guess, mindful of time, I just put together this summary that I guess it's gonna help you understand the tool if you want to get a better understanding of the tool. But this one, what's new in HubSpot, I believe is a really important page that you should bookmark, because it gives you access to all the new features that not only I covered today, but some other things that I may not have covered. So if you want to get a better understanding of marketing contacts or account-based marketing or the CMS or even inbound updates, go to that page and you will get all of that available to you. And that's it for me. I know that I said there that we have any questions, but we'll dedicate the last part of the session to go through that, right, Rubina?
Yes, we will. We will. Thank you so much, Imanol. That was a really detailed presentation, and I feel like that focus on sales, the Sales Hub and all those new features, it's great to see that some are available for the pro level as well, and that we've got some pro users here.
Yeah, sorry if I went a bit too fast towards the end, but I was trying to squeeze in as much as I could, so hopefully it all made sense, but you can ask me questions if it didn't.
No worries. So I will remind everyone that we do have Slido open. So if you want to post your question anonymously, you certainly can pop it in there. Otherwise, the chat, I'm monitoring the chat on Zoom as well. So we'll collate all the questions at the end and put them together and then kind of take it from there. So thanks again, Imanol, for your words, and we look forward to chatting to you again at the end of the session for a joint Q&A with Ryan. And up next, we have the CEO and founder of Refuel Creative, Mr. Ryan Jones. He'll be giving you some tips on how to get the most out of your HubSpot portal. So without further ado, I'm handing over to you. Over to Ryan.
Thanks. I'll just share my screen. I've got a little sneaky deck as well. So I just wanted to take everybody through some of the ways that we find that people can get the most out of HubSpot. And particularly this comes out of just giving your portal a good review from time to time. Imanol's just taken us through a bunch of cool new features that are in a range of different tools in HubSpot, but we find time and time again that people don't make use of them because they're busy, they forget about them, they don't go in and actually set them up. Just a bit of sort of sightseeing, I guess, scene setting. Who are Refuel? So we're a HubSpot partner based in Adelaide. We're a platinum partner, and we were last year's Rookie of the Year for APAC. And we do a lot of work with nonprofits in particular. And I guess now that we've got that out of the way, what has changed in the HubSpot world since you first signed up for HubSpot? One of the ones we find quite often is new hubs have come out. Service Hub has probably been released since you first used HubSpot. Maybe CMS Hub's been released since you last reviewed your website. A couple of years ago at Inbound, everybody's favorite new feature was folders. Did you know that you can put your workflows and your emails in folders and organize them? Have you upgraded your plan? 9 times out of 10, if you upgrade your plan and you don't work with a partner who's got a feature or implementation checklist, you'll probably find that there's features in your Pro or your Enterprise plan that you're just not using. Maybe your staff have moved on, you don't know how they set things up, or they've still got access and you've forgotten to disconnect it, or workflows. People jumping onto Pro tier with workflows as a main reason for doing that, and just not setting them up. They know that they're a good idea, but if they don't work with somebody to help with the implementation, they don't know what they don't know, and either nothing's set up or the workflows are pretty out-of-date methods of doing things. So before I go through how to assess what you need to clean up, I wanted to just go through some basic tidy up steps that I think everybody should do. And feel free to do those while we're on this call. Open up your HubSpot in a separate window, go through them and ask questions as you go through. Now, my first tip here is to go through your settings page by page. Just the settings page has changed in the last 3 months. So going through and looking for things that aren't set up, users that shouldn't have access, or fix anything that's clearly out of date or just misconfigured, that gives you a really good starting point for either things that you might need help with or things that you can fix really quickly. Fixing your user access list would be a 2-minute job. Now, the next thing is going to be starting to work through your broader goals, and then let's have a look at how that will impact on your use of the tools. So let's start with the SMART goals. So most of you will be familiar with the SMART goal framework: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely goals that we can measure and we can use as a form of improvement. So if we have a quick look in a HubSpot context, we're basically driving people down a funnel. I know, Imanol, it's a flywheel now, but let's start with the funnel. So we want to start by getting traffic through to the website. We want to then convert that traffic into leads. Then we want to convert those leads into customers. And then those customers will feed into our flywheel where we maintain the happy customer and bringing in referrals. So if we start by having a look at our traffic, we want to look at our total sessions. And we want to look at our sessions by source. Now, believe it or not, we've just done some work with a client looking through their portal, and this was a blocker for them. They've been using HubSpot for a couple of years and they didn't have any of the tracking codes installed on their website, so they couldn't use the traffic analytics tools. So now that would be my next priority, making sure that we've actually got the HubSpot tracking code installed on our website. Super easy. If you're on WordPress, you've got a WordPress plugin you can install. If you're on something else, there'll be a range of different ways that you can do that aren't too difficult. But what you're going to want to do is go into reports, and then you want to look at your traffic analytics. If I look at my traffic analytics, what is a nice thing to do here? Probably not the best thing you could do in 2020, considering the nosedive that most of our traffic would have taken in March and April. But it's a good idea to set your date range as the last 365 days. So we've got enough data that we can look at a significant period. Set your date range to a rolling date range and your frequency to monthly. And then we can go through and set your style as combination. And then we can see the website sessions and the contact conversion rate per month. So here in our bar graph, we've got the sessions received on the website every month and the little colored differentiators based on what drove the traffic. And then the line up here, we have our conversion rate. So you can see in this example, it stayed pretty similar at about 5% most of the year. So this starts to give us, and there's our metrics that we need to set. So this starts to give us some things that we can work on, not just in HubSpot, but with our broader strategy. Can we generate leads from the sessions that are coming through the website? And is there a good mix of sources for your traffic? If all of your traffic is coming through Google Ads, that's a big red flag, because it means you're very dependent on giving Google a lot of money for a long time. If all of your traffic is coming from direct sources, that probably means that you're relying on people who already know about you and you're not bringing in fresh blood. If you are not really getting any sessions, then Houston, we've got a bit of a problem. So what we want to do is a couple of things. So, and this is a really good quick win for you to improve your portal. So you want to check that your tracking code's installed. We already talked about that before. Really important to do that up front, especially if you've inherited a HubSpot portal and you're just not sure. Next thing to do is look at budget for pay-per-click or paid social media. The other one that I'll talk about in a sec is often I find people haven't even linked their Google Ads and their paid social to HubSpot. So there's a bit of misunderstanding there. And then we want to leverage the team's social network with pre-written posts. So work on getting traffic through from social media and start to bring traffic through from a number of different sources. Now, if your organic traffic is less than 1,000 sessions a month or less than 30% of your overall traffic, what you really need to look at is prioritizing some content development and some SEO. So HubSpot talk a lot about the pillar content strategy. We talked about that at the last hug. There's some content on the HubSpot site and on our own site around pillar pages and how pillar page strategy works. But basically it's designed to show search engines your authority in certain topics rather than going specifically after a certain term. If you can combine that with good quality search engine optimized content and posts on your site, And link building, you'll see your traffic increase over time very, very substantially. We've got a client that's just had 120% increase year on year in their traffic through just this. All right, it's huge improvement. If you've got a high bounce rate generally indicates either you're not doing enough to capture the traffic or it's poor quality traffic that you're driving towards your website. So what are we going to do? We're going to optimize the page for mobile and ensure that it's intuitive. We want people to be able to actually convert on a mobile phone. Next up, we'll match the messaging of your CTA and your content. So if we're sending somebody through from social and they're expecting, in the case of this screenshot, an article about baby lumps, and we're giving them an article about SEO, they're probably not going to convert on that because that's not really what they're interested in, not what they came for. And then with your SEO, ensure that your content answers people's questions fully. If we've left gaps in the content, if we're not aligning with the terms that people are searching for, we're not going to get the conversions that we're looking for. Now, next up, the ad tool. I spoke about this before. I find a lot of the time this isn't set up. And we comment on it not being set up, and then the client says to us, oh yeah, we've been doing Google ads, or we've been doing Facebook ads. But this is such a valuable tool for assessing the true return on investment of your social and your ads, your PPC ad performance. So we're talking about all of our impressions, work through to our clicks. Now, our ad networks already tell us that. So we're getting, in this example, we're getting a 1% click-through rate. Okay, that could be good or it could not be, depending on the industry. And then we're seeing a 0.6% of a conversion rate from our clicks to our contacts. Now that's generally awful. However, this is telling us that our contacts are worth $251.56 each. That seems like an awful lot of money to spend on a contact. So this tells me that there's probably an issue with the way that my ads are running. But what's more worrying here, and this is the thing that one of the things that drew us to HubSpot in the first place, we can track that back to the deals. So if you're paying $251 for a contact and 50% of those contacts convert into a deal, you're spending $500 a contact. Now, if your average deal size is $500, you really need to reassess that because you're losing money on every single ad click. But if your average deal size is $500,000 and you're paying $500 to convert one of those deals, then that's a drop in the ocean. That's the visibility that you get using the ads tool with your Google ads and your Facebook ads, as well as integrating that with your sales pipeline in Sales Hub. So all of those nice things that Imanol was telling us about before, they then surface data in other places that can help you understand what is and is not working. So first thing that a lot of you will be looking for here is whether it's been set up, whether the HubSpot tracking code and the pixel tracking code have been set up on the different sites. Then you'll be looking for your low conversion rate. And then you'll also be looking at your low conversion rate from contact to deal. And that will tell you which stage you need to look at prioritizing. Now, next up is your social. And again, this is a really common one when organizations upgrade from marketing starter or marketing free to marketing professional. They forget in that process that they can go back and they can use the HubSpot social tool. Not only is the HubSpot social tool mean that you're not paying for another social tool, but it allows us to track our social posts back to campaigns, which again will allow us to measure how many leads and how many deals we got from each of our campaigns. So we know exactly where everything has been effective in our sales pipeline. So if you can't see that on your portal and you're on Pro or above, then you need to link all your social properties into HubSpot so we can start to measure that. All right, so that's getting our traffic into us. So once we've got that traffic into our site, we need to convert those into leads. So at this point, the metrics that we're interested in are our sessions to contact, our conversion rate, and our form submissions. So if you're feeling a bit stressed about lead gen, you can go into your reports and see in your analytics tools where your leads are coming from. In this particular case, this is based on the report that I showed you before. So I've set my date range to the last year, I've set my frequency to monthly, and I'm just looking at the different sources that have driven traffic. This shows me how many sessions have come through. Now this is where I'm really interested, my session to contact rate. So all of these are around about the mark that I'd want for a B2B website. If it was just my website and it wasn't a landing page in particular, 5%, not too bad. So this is showing me how many new contacts have come in from each channel. And then you can see I can measure how many of those contacts converted into customers as well. Now, if I look at my website traffic by source, that's where I'm getting this clear drill down. I know exactly how many contacts have come through. Now, what we find is on a lot of websites, 1% it's just not a very good target. If your website's bringing in 1%, it's actually pretty average in a lot of ways. Average being very common. A lot of people just have a contact form on the website and they expect all of their conversions to happen in a contact form or through one form on their website. 2 to 3% is a great goal when you're getting started. With a landing page, we can get anywhere up to sort of 40 to 45%. So your conversion rate is going to vary significantly depending on your industry, but have a look at your past performance and try and get it up to at least that 2 to 3%. Move on from there. If your conversion rate is less than 2%, one thing that you can do is look at creating great content for each of your personas buyer journey. Now, if you haven't got your persona set up yet, that's a separate thing. Definitely look into some resources on how you can build out your marketing personas and work out what content you need to write for your personas to solve their pain points. But we have 3 different stages in our buyer's journey: awareness, consideration, and decision. And we want to be able to write content that addresses their needs at each stage of your persona's buyer journey. If we give them the content that they need at the stage that they're at when they visit our website, they are more likely to convert and we're more likely to get the conversion. So what can you do? Let's start with installing relevant pop-up forms on your website to capture the people's attention, capture their contact details before they leave. Next, if you've got Marketing Pro or higher, you can add relevant calls to action on the top 20 pages on your website. They can click on those call to action. We can track which calls to actions have been clicked on and then follow them through to convert them and grab their contact details. And then finally, review your forms and align the fields with the value of the offer. This is a really good one when people want to include 74 questions on a form for a $1 ebook or something like that. Essentially what you're doing here is you're trying to get somebody to buy your content, but instead of paying cash, they're giving you their contact details as their form of currency. So if we're giving them something that's really, really valuable, we can get away with asking a few more questions. But if it's not a very valuable resource, They're just not going to stick around and fill them out. So let's have a look at pop-up forms to start with. So here's a good example of a pop-up form just in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. In this case, we're looking to get a price on a shed. So we're offering people the opportunity to get an instant price on a farm shed. These pop-ups don't have to be the traditional middle of the screen. I'm going to be really annoying until I go away. They can be more subtle. It's just in the bottom right-hand corner or left-hand corner of the screen. They can slide in. They can do exit detect. So when we think that somebody's going to leave the site, we can even set them so that people have to scroll down the page a certain amount of certain distance. Now they used to be called lead-in, I think it was, Imanol. Lead-ins, or now they're forms and they're pop-up forms.
They were called lead flows in the past.
Lead flows, that's right. Terrible name, terrible. And our calls to action are the same. Now we can put our calls to action in a similar format. You notice a lot of these look like buttons. That's because we can use them as buttons on both our website and our emails. These call to actions are really powerful in workflows where you're trying to work out what stage somebody's at, whether they've not just opened your email, but they've actually followed through and done the action that you needed them to take. Now with our calls to action, you can see some of these have really good click-through rates based on our previous metrics that we were talking about. Some of them haven't launched yet, so not so good. With our calls to action, same criteria that we mentioned before. 1.5% is pretty average. 2 to 3% would be a really good goal. I'd also say that this depends on where you use it as well. If it's on your website, it's probably going to be a bit lower than if it's on a highly targeted email newsletter or something like that. So if your click-through rate on your CTAs is less than 2%, go and have a look at your CTAs and go and look at the messaging that's in them. Are they actually structured in a way that you or somebody that you know would react to them? Are they orientated towards the benefit that your personas are seeking at their stage of the buyer's journey? Is the messaging consistent with the offer that they'll get access to once they click on them? Are they placed strategically and in the right place? Have you tried smart CTAs, where we can show different CTAs to different people in different stages of the buyer's journey, or different personas, or different countries? And make sure that you continually test and iterate. It'll be really common for somebody to set up a whole number of CTAs on the website and then not touch them for 18 months, then move on from a job, and somebody new would come into the organization and not know that they were 2 years old and not start reviewing them. Now, I mentioned landing pages before. Landing pages we can use for our content offers. We can use them for our EDM campaigns. We can use them for our social and our PPC campaigns. And this is where we will drive the traffic so that they can download the content offer or access the resources. Now, it's really common here for people not to view them very often. So you can see here, our views are a lot lower for these. Our submissions are reasonably low, our new contacts are reasonably low. And then that actually flows through to our view to submission rate, our conversion rate. So some of these have got a decent conversion rate, and they might be 33%, 20%, whereas others we're looking at, well, this one here's got a 0%, so that's not ideal. What are we looking for in a landing page? Now, 20% for awareness or consideration offers, and 3 to 7% for decision stage offers. Because these are our more valuable offers, less people will get through to that stage. And I'll just point out at this stage that with landing pages, they used to be a professional feature, or if you had CMS, you could use them on CMS as well. But you can now create landing pages even if you're on marketing free. There are some limitations on the free tier, but it definitely does give you an opportunity to start experimenting with them and seeing what value they can add to your HubSpot portal. Now, if your landing page is underperforming, there's a range of different options that we can put in place. You can give away a relevant offer instead of just fill out this form and somebody from sales will get in touch in the next 6 to 12 months. Make sure that your form is higher up the page or above the fold so people don't have to scroll to see it. Make sure the length of the form and the fields match the value. So I talked about that before, but also consider the type of information that you're asking for as well. If it gets unnecessary, personal and invasive, it's less likely that they're going to give you that information. Only ask necessary questions. Use queued progressive fields. And if you've ever downloaded a content offer from the HubSpot site, you'll see that they do this a lot. It's rare that you'll fill out a form for 2 different content offers on the HubSpot site where they're asking the same question twice. And the reason for that is because of their cookie tracking, they already know what you've answered those questions for previously. So instead of asking you the same question again and again and again, if you've already asked that question, why don't we have some questions queued up that we can ask you instead? So if we know that Imanol is from HubSpot and we know that HubSpot has 5,000 employees, then maybe instead we want to ask Imanol for his job title, and we want to ask him about how many staff he has that answer to him or something like that. If it makes sense in your industry, feel free to filter personalized emails for things like Hotmail and Gmail and block those people. And customize your submission button text. Your button doesn't have to say submit. Your button can say whatever is relevant to your business. Now, HubSpot have some examples of landing page designs on their blog. One of the things that I wanted to point out with this particular example though, is this big blue link down the bottom here is actually a text-based CTA. So if you are putting regular blogs out, putting a text-based CTA after the first couple of paragraphs, and then an image-based CTA lower in the blog does significantly improve the conversion rates that you get from the blog content that you're putting out. All right. We might actually make time, that's good. Okay, so next up, let's talk about our customers. So we want to look at our total customers. Our revenue is really important, and the time it takes to close those customers. So to start with, we talked before about identifying blocks in Sales Hub Enterprise. There's a couple of different reports that you can use in HubSpot to identify your blocks. So you've got a couple of funnel reports here, contact lifecycle stage funnel with contact totals and conversion rates. And then you've got your deal stage funnel with deal totals and conversion rates. And you can see pretty quickly where people are dropping off. So in these particular examples, we've got 88 people that were created contacts. 4.5% of those dropped down and became marketing qualified leads, and then none of them became customers. So in this particular case, this doesn't necessarily show me an issue with the sales process. It shows me an issue with their usage of HubSpot. Because if you've got 88 contacts coming in and only 4.5% of them are advancing, then either you're doing something very, very wrong as a business, or you just aren't using the life cycle stages in HubSpot to be able to properly track that. And we do the same thing with the deal stage funnel. And again, this is a very common scenario where people will use the deal stages, but they won't use the contact lifecycle stage. Are the deals actually flowing through your deal stages? So 2 were created, and then both of those move forward to appointment scheduled, 100%, and then they stopped. Did they stop because they didn't convert, or did they stop because people stopped logging their interactions with the clients? Probably the latter. But you should be able to pull this out and be able to clearly see which points of friction you've got in your sales process. So where you need to either coach your reps or as a business, discover what might be blocking your deals coming through. Next up, we're looking at converting decision stage leads. So creating quick decision stage offers, getting a decision stage offer to the right segment of leads, and then finally installing conversations on high value pages. We'll talk about all of those in a sec. So with our lead nurturing, we want to get a high value lead to download an ebook, and then we have them go through a process where they're filling out a subscription form, attending a webinar. They attend the webinar, they book a consultation. We push them through to change from a lead to a customer. So part of that is getting the right ebook in front of them in the first place. So if we offer them an ebook that's 10 different tools for HubSpot, that's more of an awareness stage offering. They're not likely to make a decision based on that. Or if it's what you need to know before you migrate to HubSpot CRM, that would be more of a decision stage, and we can push them through from there. So there is a degree of sales enablement tools required here. So you need to look at the tools that you need to properly convert these leads into customers. So one of the favorite ones with our customers and with HubSpot customers is the meeting booking function. We quite often speak to people who just signed up to HubSpot so that they could get the meeting booking link. Really powerful tool in your sales enablement arsenal. And it's also really easy for you to send out nurturing emails, embed it on your website so that people can book an appointment straight into a sales rep's calendar. Now, if that idea fills your heart with dread and makes you scared to look at your calendar, there are quite a lot of controls in how that calendar booking system works. So you can set specific days or times that you'll take the appointments. You can set buffer times. And of course, it'll integrate with your calendar so that you can make sure that you're not going to get booked over. You've also got there's some email copy in our nurturing sequences. And of course, we can build workflows based on how long deals have been in different stages of our sales pipeline so that those deals keep moving forward. It's also important to have a really clear strategy so that we can make sure that we can push people through our sales pipeline and we understand what their points of friction are and what their pain points are. And of course, we have some quite good data here on the effectiveness of our sales team, who's making their sales calls, the industries where we're making our sales, and also the revenue that we're receiving per persona. So we can make sure that we're targeting people in efficient and effective ways. All right. The last thing I want to talk about here is integrations, because when we go into a new portal, even if they've got 9 out of 10 things right in their portal, this is still where we find a lot of opportunity for improvement. And people particularly if you've been on HubSpot for a long time, come to the conclusion that HubSpot should do everything for them because it's been packaged as more of an all-in-one package. And that might have been the way that HubSpot would think about it 5 or 6 years ago. But these days, HubSpot like to refer to themselves as an all-on-one platform instead of an all-in-one platform. And as part of that, you'll find that they have a number of different integration partners that connects in with the systems and makes sure that it adds additional functionality or specialized functionality that perhaps HubSpot doesn't do quite as well at. Now, if we're looking at reviewing our portal, the first thing that I want you to do is go and check your current connected apps. So if you go to your settings and then your integrations and then your connected apps, look at the list of apps that you've got there and ask yourself, do you know what they are? If you don't know what they are, then you may not need them anymore. They may have been added by somebody when you first started with HubSpot. If you don't know what they do, that's a bad sign as well. Do you still use them? Now, those 3 questions there are basically designed around, do we need to remove any? Maybe we've got an app there that a former employee added and it's been slowly siphoning off data to another tool for 3 years and we've forgotten about it. But the other question to ask you here is there anything that you use regularly or daily that is missing? Because that might present us with another option to integrate a tool, which takes away a manual step that you're currently performing. So next up, looking at basic integrations that I think everybody needs to have set up. So you need your website integrated, first of all. I feel like I've made that comment, or made that really clear so far. But if you've got a WordPress website, you can link your website to HubSpot using the HubSpot plugin for WordPress. It'll automatically start to capture your forms and allow you to embed HubSpot live chat and other tools on your website. If you're using something like Shopify or BigCommerce, you can also add the tracking code. They both have integrations that will allow you to sync orders and contacts straight into HubSpot. If you're using other content management systems, you can still integrate HubSpot. It may not be quite so easy, but there will be ways of integrating those. So either chat to us afterwards or just do a Google search to find out how other people have done it. Usually involves a little bit of code in the theme files. Now the other one here is video conferencing. So if you're using any form of video conferencing, and I just checked my clock and it's 2020 and we're in the middle of a pandemic and we're socially distancing, so you have to. Make sure that you've got your video conferencing solution of choice integrated with HubSpot so that you can automatically create meeting bookings when you use the meetings tool. We use Zoom ourselves, so integrating Zoom is really easy. If you're using Google G Suite, there's a new Google Meet integration that's just come out. I think Teams is coming, maybe, apparently, kind of. There are other integrations coming, so make sure you've got your right video conferencing set up so that that can simplify that process of booking a meeting with you. And now my recommendations here in terms of making improvements with your integrations, there's heaps. And if you go into the app marketplace in HubSpot, there's thousands, there's bucket loads. But some of the ones that we find most popular and the most common, Databox for real-time reporting. One of the things that Databox does, not better, but differently to the built-in HubSpot reporting, is it's better at bringing in data from different sources that don't necessarily integrate with HubSpot. And they allow 3 data sources for free. You can mash up your data and do more advanced filtering. Your Facebook Messenger integration for chatbots and for centrally managing all of the chats that are coming through from all of the different channels that you're running for your customers. Your Google Search Console integration to understand which keywords are driving traffic to your site. HubSpot Video for embedding videos into your emails and landing pages. Or if you use HubSpot CMS, you can embed your HubSpot video into your HubSpot CMS pages. You can use Lucky Orange for heat mapping and session recording, which also then puts those recordings on the contact's contact record. PandaDoc for your proposals, or your sales proposals, which, you know, the way that HubSpot are going with their sales tools maybe won't be required in a year. Cradle or similar for your phone system, so that your phone system is totally integrated with HubSpot for your caller ID and your support. And then finally your Google and Facebook ads, so that you can track the ROI from your campaigns. Now, as I said, I've just scratched the surface there. There's so many more, but these are probably the most common use cases that we find when we're talking to people. All right. That's me done. If you've got any questions, we've got some time now. If your question is, Ryan, why do you have such a fantastic moustache? It's because we've just finished November and I've kept it on just so I can try and get a couple more donations in the beginning of December. So you can ask questions on my November page when you're putting your donation, and that would be great.
That's great. Thanks, Ryan, and thank you, Imanol. I think we have had a lot of great sessions here today. We've had a couple of people who've had to leave halfway through, but lots of positive comments from that. I've only just got one question at the moment, which I'll pivot to over on Slido, which is, when can we get social media management in the HubSpot mobile app?
That's a really good question. And I'll be honest, I don't have the answer to that just yet, but I can see if it's in the pipeline, and I can share with the Refuel team, and they will get back to you. So at the moment, the truth is that the mobile app is more focused on sales enablement and making it easier for sales reps to use it. So that's why I would say that social management has not been included just yet. But yeah, that's a great question. Let me find that out.
Great. And I guess probably one that I have, Imanol, for you.
Mm-hmm.
It was announced today that Salesforce is going to acquire Slack.
Fun times in paradise, yeah.
So I was just wondering if you had any preliminary thoughts on that.
I think it's going to take a while for both tools to be fully integrated. And the way that Salesforce has been acquiring all the businesses is by slowly then adding them to their whole suite of products, Pardot and whatnot. I think it's going to be a transition process. And yeah, I mean, in theory, we are friendly competition with Salesforce, yeah. So I don't see why there would be a problem. But yeah, I was really surprised to see that it got acquired. I was thinking that they were just unstoppable and they were going to do really cool things. But oh well.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I was equally shocked. Ryan, did you have?
I was not expecting it.
Just a sneaky $30 billion. I did notice today, though, that the deal's not expected to close until the middle or the second half of not this financial year, but next financial year. So we've got a long time to go. But I guess people often forget, because HubSpot have got a CRM, that HubSpot integrates with Salesforce. HubSpot used to be a Salesforce customer, so even if you are using HubSpot, you can still use, even if you are using Salesforce, you can still use HubSpot on the marketing side and on the sales enablement side and the service side and the website side. So there's a lot of value that you can still get as a Salesforce customer.
Absolutely. And as I said, it's a completely friendly competition. And until we launch like custom objects and things like that, Salesforce was the solution for a lot of clients that needed that level of customization that HubSpot couldn't offer. But we have, I cannot tell you the number from the top of my mind because I don't know it, but a high number of clients that use both tools. So yeah, but it was something interesting, yeah, to read this morning for sure.
Yeah. So we've got a few people left, and just wondering, Alenka or Drew or Louise or Sylv, do you guys have any further questions at this time? If not, that's okay. Just let us know in the comments. Because yeah, I guess we are pretty much basically on the dot almost. It's 3:29 p.m. I just want to say thank you to everyone who attended today for what they could, and also for sticking with us to the very end. Shout outs to Alenka and to Drew, Sylv, and Louise as well. So lovely to have you all here. And the slides we will make available to you afterwards as well. So again, if you have any further queries that you want to follow us up, feel free to connect with us on LinkedIn, or, you know, feel free to email, you know, ryan@refuelcreative.com.au, or better yet, donate to his disgusting Ron-sponsored Mo, all in aid of men's health as part of Movember. So feel free to make a donation if you feel the Mo deserves it. On that note, I'm going to close this one out, and we look forward to seeing you all again, and hopefully seeing you all again in 2021.
Yeah. And thank you for having me, Refuel team. Thank you for everyone that attended. I hope that you find the content helpful, and yeah, I look forward to seeing you in 2021.
No worries. Thanks.
Thank you. See ya.